Commitment shy, I'm afraid of being in love. All right. So don't mind the sound. I'm gonna do a quick little reading with the energies that I'm picking up today, man. I've been following this big message today that's been coming in really strong. It's been coming in all week, right? Of just being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and really trusting divine timing to have you where you're meant to be. Ooh, what do you want? I get a lot of sense of people worrying about what other people want all the time, right? What do you want? What do you want? You know, it's just the big message of, I don't know, picking up you're where you're meant to be when you're meant to be there. The universe is trying to play with me. I refuse to engage. We're all in some kind of trouble. Am I the only one who sees it? I mean, for real, here's what it comes down to. You'll have people in your life that are going to kind of, them not knowing what they want or speaking what they want will have you feeling all kinds of ways, right? Especially if you're an empath, right? Because you're picking up on energies and you're just like, I don't understand. Like, why is this person, like, their energy says one thing, but their actions say another? Well, after a while, you just have to let their actions, sometimes you just got to listen to their words and just roll with it, right? I mean, I literally just had someone tell me that they can do bad all by themselves. And it's like, yeah, babe, you can do bad all by yourself. And you were doing absolutely horrible by yourself. And you were drowning by yourself. And what they don't seem to realize is they haven't been by themselves for about 3 years. So, now they are. Now they can go ahead and they can do bad all by themselves. If they can't see what, what's the saying? Not everybody's savable. Not everybody is savable, and not everybody savable wants to be saved. And you can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can tell them about the fear train and the love train. You can go through all the spiritual guru shit. You can sit there and tell them what, even my bad experiences have led me to the most awesome things in my life, and revelations of my life, But it won't matter to them. It's the Ten of Swords, right? That they're going to just wallow in their anxiety and their self-pity, and they're going to use that to self-sabotage every relationship they come into. And you can't keep beating yourself up over people like that. They don't want to be saved. They don't want to be saved. They don't want to get on the love train. You can't make them. What will happen, though, is if your frequencies continue to not match up, the universe will remove you from the situation in one way, shape, or form, or remove them from the situation in some way, shape, or form. And then it'll put you in a position, if you're on the love train, for a lot of healing, right? Right? What do we got here? We got, remember, you can always walk away. The game ends when you stop playing. Don't let anybody ever tell you that they are better than you, right? When a child speaks, listen, right? They're the most pure-hearted things. They're closer to source than we are. A dream is merely a dream until you put it into action. Don't let people future cast you, right? These are people that are always waiting for the future to be better before they make a move or do anything, right? It always has to be perfect before they do anything. They will have you stuck in a holding pattern if you're not careful, right? I got, oh no, not I. And for whoever's watching this, I got, good Lord said he can get me out of this, but he's pretty sure you're fucked. That's the Irish man from Braveheart. I actually just had a bunch of those videos pop up. All right, let's see. We still got the same cards out from before. Let's see what storyline we got going on here. What's the moral of the story, right? Let's see what we got going on. man. Oh, I'll get into it in a minute. Let's get the story time out first. And then I can get into a bit of my story of what I went through this last week. It was pretty intense, man. I mean, I didn't even have to watch the news to hit every pretty much hot button political scenario. What do we got? The key. The key, 8 of Pentacles. 33. Ooh, we're just talking about 33. My numbers are 11 and 22, which add up to 33. 33 is also a master architect number in the life path journeys. It's 1 through, I think 1 through 9, and then it's 11, 22, and 33 are the big numbers. All right, so we got the 33, the key, playing card, 8 of Pentacles. What's needed, what's important, necessity, revelations. And the sweetest tale of the castle that stood on the golden post. A key plays a significant role. A young person must enter the castle but has no key. Several creatures band together to form a key so that he can reveal the treasures of the castle. When the key shows up, pay attention to what it is pointing at. This can be an indication of something necessary or important to your success. It can open up what needs to be revealed, and what is behind the key may be locked and inaccessible for now. These can be thought of as traps to be avoided, things to let go of. Look for the nearest card to see what is most urgent in your reading. The key points out what you will need most to succeed in your current question. Ooh. All right. But I can't call you mine. Picking up past life energy, so I'm going to pull my past life cards out again. A million times I won't forget you. Can't remember me without you. What past life energy is being pulled in here? The way you looked at me, called you by your name. I couldn't make you see. When you stop hiding this way. Ooh, twin flames. Oh, this is my twin flame card for sure, right? This is a soul connection that has been playing reversal back and forth, right? Sometimes you come as the male, sometimes you come as the female, sometimes, and you guys play this back and forth, back and forth. Whew. Why? Because that's what twin flames do. If you're, you carry both the masculine and the feminine energy. What's shadow? What's the shadow being carried here between the two? What's the mirroring shadow from our dark mirror? Got a mirroring shadow here. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right. Ooh, parasite. Parasite energy, right? You know what? I'm going to read parasite. I'm going to go ahead and read this one this time, 19. I like to do this sometimes so you guys know that it's not just my interpretation of some things, like this is what it means. All right. The moon phase is the waxing crescent. The stage is depression. When the only answer to lack of self-efficiency is to cling to another one. The visual seed, a long-haired man. Let's pull it up, right? I would have thought it was a woman at first, right? A long-haired man with a pale face and heavy eyelids. A dull golden chain wraps around his forehead, around his body and through his body. A poisonous ivy grows and clings subtly to him. The sentence, What can't survive alone will seek company, but instead of growing together, they will wither together. Going dark. Relationships are not a zero-sum game. Of course, using each other is part of the game, but it is quite different when the use takes shape of supporting rather than manipulating or exploiting. In the long run, a good relationship is a win-win, where the more I give, the more I get, and the other way around. It is not always like this, though, isn't it? Not just in a bad relationship, but in the short run, the bad is bound to happen even in a house of true love. We cling, we bite, we hunger for safety and freedom and support. And on the other side, we get mangled, bitten, and demanded on. Well, it happens. It happened, and it will happen again. It is part of the game. But if it happens too often, this creates a toxic environment. It doesn't matter if if you're the victim or the predator, as the poison is shared equally. One gets the pain and the other gets the advantage, but the toxic part they both get. Fully, a parasite, a leech, kills itself as much as it kills its host. It sacrifices the journey to the destination, and then the destination is its own failures. The problem is not living as sheeps, but the true problem is living as a sheep for 100 years. All right. All right. Parasitic energy. Who's the parasite here? Who took more than they gave? Who is the one using people? Who was the one that was really struggling to do it on their own and needed help? Who was the one who was always there to give help? Who was the one who never showed when you needed help, even though you were always there for them? This is a one-sided parasitic twin flame relationship right now. Someone is not seeing things for what they are. Someone is stuck on severe survival mode. Someone is stuck in fear mode. And when you're in fear mode, you're in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Damn the consequences and who you hurt. It's not a natural state for a star seed, and it's damn sure not how you're supposed to be using the twin flame connection. All right. I've got Temperance on 2 lines here. I'm picking up a lot of Sagittarius energy. Definitely a masculine energy. We had a King of Wands here in the middle on the 40. Let's see what this King of Wands is focused on. Definitely a lot of fire energy. I also got Scorpio in the top line. Death and rebirth. All right. Try a little whiskey. I want to smoke that cigarette. Oh, that sweet addiction on my breath. West Virginia. On the backseat of the Cadillac. Some dead boys like me go out like that. I need you. Like a needle needs a vein. Like my Uncle Joe in Oklahoma needs the rain. Yeah, we got definitely on the 3D. This is someone who's trying to block being able to be read right now. This is someone who is defensive and can pop off at the mouth. This is someone who is trying to seek balance, right? Once again, there's that sword for a tongue, trying to seek balance. They're at a point of recovering. They're still recovering from whatever it was that they've been through. The 4 of Pentacles here, right? They're trying to recover. You got 44 here is a big number as well. But this is someone who's definitely trying to recover and trying to rebuild foundations. And yeah, they're using their intellect more than anything else right now. Right? We got the I Am the Machine card again. Right, now I accidentally dealt 2 lines for the 4D, which I am picking up. This person has so much on their brain. Like, so much on their brain. This is... I can remember one morning when I was untangling one of the dogs, right? He was hooked up to this grill, and like you could tell, right? He had been trying to untangle himself all night, and he kept going the wrong way over this cord, and he just made it tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter till he had no choice but to lay down and wait for me to come outside or somebody to come outside to help him untangle himself. And as I'm untangling all these cords, and it's around this tire and back over the cord, and then around that thing, and then back under the cord, and then over the cord, and then back around this thing, and just, you had to go out there and just completely untangle everything for him and help him out, right? Overthinking. The dog kept overthinking, trying to how to untangle himself, and he just kept tangling himself up more and more and more and more and more, right? This is someone who's really working on trying to rebuild some skills here, right? Was on top, right? So these were like this, right? This is someone who could be a little overindulgent. This can be someone who... I get like they're holding on, see 30, this is 33, no, that's 4 of Cups and 3 of Pentacles, right? I'm thinking 33 because they're holding 3 cups in their hand, right? And you got the 3 of Pentacles here, so it's like they're focusing on trying to be happy and they're trying to focus on their skills, but there you go, in the moon, what? The universe is tossing a cup at you, but you can't see it, right? You can't see it. You're trying to manifest this stability, right? You're trying to manifest this stability, and you know that, right? You know that where your focus goes is where your energy flows. So this is someone who's really trying to build this stability, right? And look, it even has the 2 people hugging the tree there in that 10 of Pentacles, right? Trying to build the foundation, is trying to find this balance as well. Get a strong message that it's like, yeah, a coming together, right? We've got this King of Wands is really passionate. They're really passionate and they're really nostalgic. And I think they're trying to rebuild. Yeah, that I really get the strong sense that they're trying to rebuild like a home foundation. But there's a lot of nostalgia that comes in there. And I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from, because it's like you look back at the good times and then you're like, oh man, but it was so crushing when they were done. And then that's where that whole anxiety and the defensiveness from it comes in. It's like, what? You kind of want it, but at the same time, you're terrified of it at the same time. We got the Prince of Pentacles here, wants to make moves on the 3D. And if they did, it would be a lot of success, right? But they're still coming into a lot of balance here with the Temperance card, right? You know what? That's what I want to do. I want to look at the definition of temperance. Ha! Temperance, the abstinence from alcoholic drink, the temperance movement. Thought so. What is the true meaning of temperance? It's a noun, moderation, self-restraint in action, statement, etc., self-control, the habitual moderation of indulgence Four of Cups is also the indulgence card, right? Overindulging in something, especially in the use of alcoholic liquors. Total abstinence from alcoholic liquors. So there's definitely a victory over that going on. This is someone who's going through a major healing process. Don't mind me, I'm being bad and drinking soda, but is what it is, right? What does the 5D have to say about all this? The 5D says 10 of Cups is totally possible, but you got that Temperance again card pulling up, right? Death and rebirth. You have to let the past die in order to move on to the future, right? With the Ace of Cups, focusing on manifesting your own love, heart, center, energy, focusing on what it is that you need to fulfill yourself, right? And I feel like that's a lot of power and control over indulging things. I don't know why I get that Dax song. I got wasted because I didn't want to deal with myself tonight, right? That's the kind of energy that is being left, right? It has to be a death in that and a rebirth in what lights you up, what makes you love you, right? Right? That song is all about, I got wasted because I didn't want to deal with myself tonight. Well, why don't you want to deal with yourself? You have to figure out why you love yourself. So what are you hiding from yourself? You know what I'm saying? What are you burying yourself in? Right? It doesn't necessarily need to be alcohol. It could be any drug. It could be video games. It could be you're more obsessed with the video game than you are of actually living your life. Like your life is based on this video game and it's not real. I mean, that's more abstract than even the 3D. That's 2D. Like you're stuck in the 2D, right? You're not even making any moves on the 3D because you're so defensive. And you can't find yourself in those kind of energies. You need to remember what it is about you that you love, that you can actually get out there and start really engaging back with the real world again as your true self, as you're meant to be. Like that's the big purpose that we've been picking up here lately, right? Has been, your purpose is to be you, but you have to actually be you and engaging with the world if you're going to make any changes, right? I do got a warning of the 5 of Wands, and it's definitely the energy of don't allow the crabs in the bucket, right? You're going to try to get out of that bucket and they're going to be, crabs in the bucket is all, one crab can easily climb out of the bucket, but when you put a bunch of crabs in the bucket, it doesn't matter how full the bucket is, they won't ever get out because as soon as one gets close to the top, the other ones start pulling it down, right? Got to stop letting people pull you down. You got to stop letting people, when you start lighting up, dim your fucking shine. You really got to stop. You can't let other people's opinions of you control you. Let me go for some clarifiers here. Me out in the moonlight. Ooh, I like this song. Giving You Up by Cameron Marlowe. Don't you dare try to reappear after you already got me standing here. I can't believe that you come around, you're looking around. A little bit of sympathy. I wasn't the one you left all alone crying, feeling like a hot mess. Don't show your face around here anymore. Something you gotta get through your head. I'm giving you up, just like I did those Marlboro Lights, and I'm giving you up. Just like the way I did the whiskey on ice, and it's all so tough. Turn me to a man I don't even recognize. I'm giving you up, same way you did me out in the moonlight. there is an overcoming of anxiety for the other side of this, right? All this stress, all this anxiety, all this nonsense that a person can put you through, right? It's time to let go of the anxiety and worrying about it, right? It's time to use your intuition, foresight, and a little bit of preparation to get control of those inner dragons, right? And yeah. Got that. There's a lot of recovery happening, right? A lot of that energy, a lot of restoring. I also like to call this card the Sword of Truth, right? Because it usually is the 3 swords hanging over somebody. Third-party situations, bullshit like that. And then underneath this person who's laying there recovering is a sword underneath the bed, right? And that is the Sword of Truth that will defend you from those third-party situations, right? Someone else wants to listen to other people, let other things come in between you and them, let other things destroy the connection, and it's time to give up that connection, right? It's just as toxic as alcohol or anything else, right? This person can be a total parasite on you if you allow them to keep draining your energy, right? It's time to start making them moves forwards, divine feminines. We got that Cup of Hearts there. I love that, right? Right? Time to wield that sword of truth and just be like, look, it's really quite clear that when it comes down to it, some people expect you to just keep giving and giving and giving and giving. But then when it comes time when you need that love and compassion, they're not going to have it for you. They're not capable of it. They're too wounded, they're too broken, and they don't want to be saved, right? And you're going to end up, finding yourself stuck in a holding pattern, waiting for somebody to open their fucking eyes, right? It's time to, if you want the treasures in the castle, then you need to find that team, right? This is all about those animals coming together to help them get into the tower on the castle on the top of the pole, I guess it was. Almost like that tower, right? The witch's tower, right? You know. The prince had to actually come up to Rapunzel's tower. Like, it's not like the Tangled movie. In the story, the prince actually comes up to the tower, calls Rapunzel to let her hair down, and then actually has to climb the fucking tower to save her. So, yeah. Stop saving people who aren't going to be there to save you when you need it, right? Definitely got that big message of what? Really look back on how much you gave, and then look back to see whenever you asked for help, where were they? Did they ever show up to help you? When they did they really do what you needed them to do? Dealt with that a lot. I've saved a lot of people over the years that when it came down to it, you know, they didn't do what it was I needed them to do. I was always expected to give, be there, be the nurturer, be the healer, be the one that does all this stuff to try to help them. And then, you know, like I said, I've been there. You know, my first husband was addicted to video games. He didn't do next to anything around the house. I did all the yard work. I did all the cleaning. 99% of the time, I was the one with the job. He couldn't even hold a job. You know, and then it's like you look back after you wasted 10 years of my life, right? 10 years of my life, hoping that sooner or later this person would notice what it was that I needed. No, when I was depressed, I was just depressed. I was usually left on my own. Nobody was there, right? My second ex, all I needed was the house to be fixed and stuff like that. But, you know, he was too busy destroying himself that he could barely walk, let alone help do anything that he was supposed to do, right? You know, Rob was the alcoholic, right? Who couldn't admit that he's an alcoholic, and he just still can't admit to himself that, you know, the only way he's going to recover is if he stops drinking altogether. He cannot be a social drinker, you know. That's something that really got me with the AA meetings that, you know, I had to go to, because when you go to rehab clinics and stuff like that, well, it wasn't really, it's a behavioral clinic. It had sleep people there too, but some people were there for rehab. So AA did come a couple times while I was there. And yeah, it was one night that, there was one night in particular that got me. These three gentlemen came in, and it was the way they kept saying, I took my first hostage. Oh, I was in college, and that's when I took my first hostage. My first wife was my first hostage, right? And it's all about that parasite that can't survive without somebody else. They need somebody else. They need somebody who's stable. They need somebody to take care of the bills. They need someone who's going to hold down the job and hold down the fort when they become a shit show, right? And they constantly need saving. Constantly need saving. You know, I said that with Rob. I was like, I never saw him pay his own phone bill, right? Never saw that man pay his own phone bill. Every single month he had to beg somebody to pay his phone bill for him, and his phone was getting turned off every month. You know, it was just absolutely ridiculous to deal with. And, you know, you got to have healthy boundaries with these people, and you've got to recognize at some point that, yeah, you're wasting your life, you know, trying to save somebody who clearly doesn't want to save themselves, right? If they're not going to be a part of their healing, you can't keep feeding into the delusion. Addiction and narcissism is very, very close. It's very, very close. An addicted person can't see the addiction, and then they will just want you to play into their fantasies. And it's like, whenever you keep crashing down that wall, they will get angry and they'll fight you back. And at some point, you got to realize you deserve a lot better than that. All right. Let's see what else. Anything left from the deck of many things? I got, it's not about dealing with her when she is happy. It's about being able to deal with her when she is upset. Right? You're allowed to be upset. You are allowed to have emotions too. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to not be perfect, right? And anybody who demands perfection of you can walk the fucking high road, man. That you don't need that shit, because they're not fucking perfect either, right? So anybody who's demanding perfection of you and cannot handle you when you're upset, that is not someone who's meant to be with you. The person who's meant to be with you will calm you. They will come and they will calm you. They will not blame you. They will not torture you. They will not hold it against you. They will calm you and they will heal you if they were truly meant to be with you. Right? One day we're going to melt the faces off the universe. Oh, man. Yeah. Sometimes you have to let things die, right? This is one that I've let die. Way back when, before I started all these YouTube channels and everything else, there was someone who I thought was my twin flame. And that was the last message they sent me. And then once we finally let that connection die, he remarried his first wife, the mother of his children. Isn't that interesting? Not sure how he's doing now. I make it a point when I do cord cuttings to not stalk people anymore, to let them go on about their lives and go on about mine. And I say this too, when even it comes to the twin flame journeys, right? There's more of you than you realize, right? You are a spark, an infinite spark from, you know, the Big Bang. You're a fractal piece of energy, right? And there's matching energies to you. So the twin flame journey isn't about just one connection. It's a buildup of connections. It's connection after connection. And each time you run into that mirror of yourself again, you elevate a little bit more. Well, sometimes that person doesn't elevate with you. Well, when that person doesn't elevate with you, another person will come to help you elevate, right? You don't want anybody that's going to pull you back down to where you've been, right? The night we met, I knew I needed you so. You know what, though? You don't get to miss what you said we never had. They're all there is to it, right? If they deny everything, if they deny the connections, and if they deny all the craziness, and they deny their synchronicities, and they deny you, then they don't get to cry about it when you move on, right? You've conquered bigger demons than this before, and you're strong enough to conquer them now. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. I love y'all, and I will be back just as soon as I can, I promise.